France were the first nation to put themselves through to the knockout stages after a comfortable win up against the Danes. Who's going to join them? We're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks, Bam's giving another review video today. We're looking back at day 7 of this year's World Cup over in Group D. And we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new where you've been, smash your subscribe button, bam, to all things World Cup Group D related, World Cup Champions France related, World Cup itself related. We're going to all hear, boys. Under one Ruska, France are looking A-OK, looking fantastic, and already through to the last 16. But of course, who will join them? That's the question on everybody's lips. We'll take a look at all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, of course. You know who you are. Anyway, let's get into it, of course, and have a look at what I'm talking about over in Group D, then, shall we? Here we go. Recapping the games, of course, Tunisia against Australia ended up as a 1-0 win for Australia. Put themselves right back in the thick of things. Tunisia, though, got it all to do now, taking on the left flank in that final game. But the Aussies will take on the Danes, but of course came here with a job to do and took a chance, really, on the 23rd minute. Mitchell Duke puts the ball in the back of the net to give the Socceroos, or Socceroos to you and I, a goal, a lead, and of course, in the end, 3 points, of course. 58% possession for Tunisia, 42% possession for the Australians there. 14 shots for Tunisia as well, just 9 for Australia. So they took their chance, they got it, and put it back, ball in the back of the net, and Tunisia then, of course, tried their very best with the ball, and of course couldn't break down Australia, and put themselves in a bit of a bind with the French left to their last 3 games, or the 3 games out of this World Cup. The only perk for this is the fact that France have qualified. Maybe they'll put in a second 11, but I do think even a second 11 of France is going to take out a lot of these teams. So it's going to be a monster climb or monster achievement if Tunisia were to do that. Meanwhile, they also need a little bit of rub of the green between the Danes and, of course, Australia. But anyway, take a look at the teams then between these two sides. Of course, we've got Ayman Darman, of course, between sticks, Taibi, Meria, Braun, of course, at the back there, Shaqiri, Ledouini, Drega, Abdi, Masanki, Sluti and Jablali up top, but it wasn't good enough to get that goal. But they were tidy, and they've been tidy since they've been here. And of course, the crowds, the 30th or the 12th man for Tunisia on those Middle Eastern and Northern African clubs or nations are feeling the benefits of having this World Cup in the geographical location that it is. The subs, of course, we saw Keresha, Saiss, Kaziri coming on there, Cassini as well, but unfortunately they could not break them down. None the same. What about the Australians, of course, coming at you with Matthew Ryan between sticks, Riles at the back there, Suter as well, stepping up to the plate. He is Bedic on the left hand side, Krakic on the right, Moy, Irvine, Godwin, Leckie, McCree and Mitchell Duke up top. We did see some changes as well with Bacchus, Rustic, Mabali and McLaren coming on, but also Degnic at the back there, of course, to refresh the back line. Of course, these are the match ratings then, the man of the match going. If you want to look at it from a Tunisian point of view, you're looking at maybe Nassim Silti up top. But of course, Taibi at the back, 7.2. As for Australia, the man of the match going to Aaron Moy. Big fan of him. Actually, not tell a lie. It's Mitchell Duke and Harry Suter with 7.7. Matt Ryan with a 7.9. So he's actually the man that's kept them in this and put them in an okay position, maybe, to get out of these groups and, of course, upset this group. But they'll have to do it the hard way when they take on the Danes. And a winner-takes-all encounter there. Draw will not be good enough for Australia. Meanwhile, the heat maps, as you can see here, the left-hand side, Tunisia with all the ball, but, of course, not really penetrating the central part of that attacking third. Meanwhile, Australia were taking their chances, coming down the left-hand side more often than the right, but of course get the goal none the same. So all in all, not too shabby, but for Australia, they of course get the 3 points. But what about the fans? Of course, I did get some word back, at least from Australia, maybe even Tunisia. So here, of course, are their words and reaction to those 3 points.
So disappointing match of Tunisia. We lost against Australia. Australia didn't play very well, I think, but they knew how to control the match, how to defend very well. They get lucky to score the first goal, but I think they deserve it in the first period of time. I think their coach was really very clever how to deal with Tunisian team. Tunisian, they didn't play really very well because they was worried That was very emotional. They didn't have enough confidence, so they always lose many balls, and of course we didn't score in some occasions, easy occasions really, especially in the second half of time. I think we lost an opportunity to qualify to the second tour. We had big chances, and I think we are really sad about it. So Australia, even if they didn't play very well in the second half, but they deserve the match and the goal, and they was very strong in the duels and in counter attack, and I think they did very well. So we will play against France next time, which is very hard for us, and France is a very strong team. So good luck for the Tunisian team, and thank you for this match, even if really we are so sad and disappointed. Thank you.
Surreal. Just surreal. I've had to drive just a block down the road just to get away from everyone. I am speechless. That is our first World Cup win since 2010, when we beat Serbia 2-1. And that is our first World Cup clean sheet since 1974. And I have to say, we didn't get tested much in the first half. But that second half, Matty Ryan kept getting tested. And Harry Suter, that last-ditch challenge to save the winger coming in on goal, incredible. I'm rambling, but I'm Australian tonight, and I'm so happy. I am so happy about it, that I'm Australian, because we've just won a game in the World Cup, and that doesn't happen. And it's brilliant. What a response from the France game. Mitch Duke. People outside of Australia probably won't know the context, but he's not that beloved of a player. He's fine, he's great, but it's just that a lot of people question why he gets chosen so much, especially over Jamie McLaren, who was one of our leading goal scorers in the qualifications, and Jason Cummings as well. You got Mitch Duke, and a lot of people question it, and tonight he just said, take your questions, because he ran after the defense, consistently badgering them. His link-up play was incredible. He set up his own goal. He gets a pass on the halfway line, does a quick little back heel, then sprints into the box, and that header is Tim Cahill-esque. That's Timmy in there. Matt Leckie putting in everything on the right wing. Aaron Moy being instrumental in midfield. Jackson Irvine never has a bad game for Australia. He only has decent games and really good games, and this was a really good one. This is Bajic again. That whole team was incredible tonight, and I'm just lost for words. This is what it feels to be Australian when you're winning games in the World Cup, and I haven't felt this since I was a kid, and that hits me. That really hits me.
Meanwhile, of course, our other World Cup winners, that's right, France. Of course, getting a little closer to back-to-back titles. Of course, with a big 2-1 win over Denmark. Denmark have usually had France's game this year, playing them in the Nations League twice. I think they beat them twice as well. But 2-1 it was on the day, and of course, it was Kylian Mbappe on the world stage, really stepping up to the plate and saying, you know what, I am the world of football. Of course, Messi, Ronaldo into their twilight, beyond twilight years perhaps. Mbappe really showing that he is the face of the place right now. And they had less of the ball, though, only slightly, though, 51% possession for the Danes, 49% possession for France. But look at the shots. 21 shots. Is there a better attacking lineup in this World Cup? Of course, Brazil will have a say about that. But right now, France look the team to avoid, and of course they've not even have they been tested so far. Of course, Australia, now Denmark. Denmark, of course, gave them a game here. 61st minute, Mbappe did take the lead. The Danes fought back 68 minutes, but it wasn't until the final 5 or 6 minutes there that they took the 3 points with another Mbappe goal. So maybe not as clinical as there was against Australia, but they're there. They've qualified. They put their cap in the hat for the next round, and they'll just wait to see who they take on, which could be Argentina. So it could be a spicy second round match depending on what goes on over there. But of course, as you can see, pretty even games besides the shots. But when you've got the lineup that France have, they're going to create some chances. Take a look at the lineup then. Of course, they did make some changes. Loris between sticks. Varane coming in there, of course, from Manchester United. Theo Hernandez, Koundé at right back, Tchouameni, Rabiot, Mbappe, Dembele, Griezmann and Giroud. Of course, it was the 4 that did start against Australia. As for the substitutions, Konate came in on there. We also had Fofana in midfield, Coman and Thuram up top. But as for Denmark, they also made some changes. Schmeichel, Andersen, Nielsen, Christensen, Holsberg, Eriksson, Rasmus Christensen, Male, Lindstrom, Damsgaard and Cornelius. No Matey Boy was not on the team here. The Capitano Kajar, he was on the sidelines, but we did see Alexander Barr, Norsgaard, who else came on there? Braithwaite and Dolberg as well, which I think are going to have to start in the next game in a win or bust game against the Socceroos. Take a look at the man of the match ratings. Of course, take a look at those 8s there for Griezmann and Mbappe with a couple of goals to his name. So I'd probably give it to Mbappe. As for the Danes, Holsberg with 7.6, not too shabby considering they're on the losing end. The heat maps, of course, as you can see, a lot of grass covered there by the French, and even that central spot there where they were clinical enough to put the ball in the back of the net as well. I don't think I got the word from the Frenchies here, but I did get some response from the Danes from this match. So here he comes with his thoughts and opinion about the match, and of course Denmark's state of affairs in the World Cup.
Denmark-France 1-2. Well, it was a better play than against Tunisia, and France is of course a world-class team, so you can't keep hold on Mbappe in 90 minutes. Give him half a chance and he scores. And that was the result yesterday. Now we have to do it ourselves. We have to win against Australia next time. And hopefully we're going to win 2-3-0. So we're sure to go through, because can't see Tunisia win with 2 goals against France, even though France is going to spare some of the players. We've not been playing that well. We have some issues regarding fitness on some of the players. But hopefully we're going to do it against Australia. Then it's either Poland, Argentina or Saudi Arabia we're going to play against in the next round if we go through. So hopefully it's going to be Poland, with a draw for Poland against Argentina next time. Then it's Poland-Denmark in the next round. Otherwise it's probably going to be Argentina. I can't see Saudi Arabia do the surprise in that group, even though they play some very good football, I had to say. So let's see what's going to happen. But I wouldn't say it's disappointing to lose 2-1 against a world-class team. But we are playing better, and hopefully it's going to be the next time we're going to win. And it's the same as the Euros. We didn't play well the first 2 matches against Finland and Belgium. Then we smashed Russia, and then, semi-final in the Euros. I don't say we're going to go to the semis in the World Cup, but hopefully we're going to play better now. See you.
Meanwhile, let's of course take a look at the state of play in the group. France are top and they are through. Of course, the Australia-Denmark factor could still. I'm just going to take a long shot but Australia could still nick that top spot. They'd have to beat the Danes, but they have to beat them by like 6-0 and hope France lose to Tunisia. So realistically, I don't think so. It looks like France are nailed on for that top spot. But of course, who's going to join them? And of course, Tunisia, if they were to beat from the French, they would need a turn. Actually, the goal deficit is not that bad considering the other 2. So a draw from Australia and Denmark could open up the door for Tunisia if they were to beat France. All the games will take place at the same time, so we will have to wait and see. But if I had to put my money on it, I'd put France going through, of course. Probably put Denmark, but Australia, a draw for Australia is a-okay. They're going to be happy with that. So they've got a little bit more extra life than Denmark. So it's probably an advantage Australia heading into this. But anyway, that is the state of play over in Group D. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. We'll go again, guys, into match number 3. Non-stop coverage all the way through to the final. Hopefully I'll see you there. But until then, I'll see you soon.